And with that said, I would love to actually introduce our topic today. So our topic today is unlock the impact of marketing channels to grow your business. This presentation is actually brought to you by our friend and our partner, Jessica Anguiano, founder of the Maravillosa movement. So Jessica's done a great job in terms of doing these workshops in the past, and always happy to have her here. And she's got great content for our content for all of you today. So with that said, Jessica, I'll go ahead and pass the floor on to you.
Thank you, Alex. And as a great pleasure to always be here in partnership with the CIELO community, and as well as our entrepreneurs here. I also see new faces and I do see familiar faces. So I'm super excited that we're all connecting. I do encourage you to, as I'm doing the presentation, that you do drop your questions in the Dropbox and connect with each other. I am huge on collaboration. So make sure that you guys are following each other and see where the future heads. So we're going to go ahead and get started on marketing channels. So let's get our presentation ready. Okay, so I usually do an icebreaker and I'm not going to do it today because we have a nice treat towards the end. But for those that don't know me, Maravillosa Movement operates in two different dynamics. The first one is I work with women to help them uplift them where they already are. I already believe that they're marvelous. I already think that they are the Maravillosas. I'm just here to help you hold your hand and just scale you, meet you where you're at, and scale you with your business, whether it is connecting you with resources or helping you with my specialty, which is marketing. I also partner with wonderful partners such as CIELO. This is where it offers me to be able to provide some workshops for you. And most of the time, like CIELO, they are no cost to you. So I encourage you to connect with me towards the end of the presentation. So you can work very closely with not only CIELO, but perhaps any other organizations because we're here as an ecosystem for small businesses. What inspired Maravillosa movement? A lot of the times that I teach these topics, I keep my mother in mind. She's the one who inspired me to open Maravillosa movement because she was also an entrepreneur and she lost her business within 3 years. At this time, I was barely going to school, and I think about it often. Man, if I had these resources or if I knew what I know now then, I know my mama would have been in a better place. But things happen for a reason, right? So I believe I'm a big believer in God, and I just feel like maybe that was meant for me to be able to provide those services to you that you're here as a group. Um, I mentioned this in last time's presentation. Um, we're all here for marketing channels, right? And a lot of us sometimes feel burned out trying to share our resource our businesses, whether you're a product or service. The crazy thing is that your client is already looking for you. How many times you as an individual, as a consumer, have said, ah, I wish there was this X, Y, and Z to help me with this problem. And a lot of the time we are the solution to that problem. But here's the thing. If if you're clear on who they are, they will be naturally drawn to you because you're going to be speaking their language. The problem is that many businesses waste time chasing the wrong crowds, right? Every time that I work with an individual, my first question is, who is your target market? And if their answer is, it's everyone, I already know that we got some work to do. You have to really know who your ideal client is because then we're going to be able to speak their language, their tone, and find them in the right marketing channels that you should be promoting your products. Your ideal customer will have specific words, phrases, emotions that connect with you. If you noticed, if you go into Google and you start searching for certain things, like for example, my husband will tell me, I don't know why Instagram shows me nothing but food. And it's funny because I'll peek over and he's looking at tacos and he's looking at steak, and it's because the algorithm is picking up that that's what he likes, right? So again, you have to make sure that when you are marketing your products that you're using the words and phrases that potentially your ideal customer will be looking for. Now, according to studies, I always like to share a few statistics to kind of back up what we're trying to learn here. And some of the interesting statistics that I found is that 3.8 billion people are using social media worldwide right now. So just imagine the bucket that you have right now to get to your ideal client. The other thing is that 80% of the consumers say that they're most likely to purchase after attending a live event or experience. It's all about personal connection. And then the other thing is for every $1 you spend on email marketing, businesses see an average return of $42. Okay. These are three different marketing channels. To tell you a little bit more about marketing channels. What are they? What do you mean by marketing channels? If you don't know already, marketing channels are the platforms or the pathways that you use to communicate your product services to your potential customers. They're different forms, but the same goal, right? Whether it's social media, email, local events, all of these channels that you are potentially speaking about your brand is either going to give you increased visibility, or it's going to increase your sales, or it's going to increase your following over on social media platforms. Tailor to your audience. Every channel, it's being tailored to your audience. That means that depending on your ideal customer, where they spend their time, whether it's online or offline, you can meet them where they're at. I often say I love using LinkedIn. I am big on LinkedIn and I'm big on Instagram. I use both of those social media platforms very heavily. But while I'm an entrepreneur, I also have downtime, right? So if someone is trying to sell me a service that could potentially be something um that I can use for my business over on Instagram around the time that I'm winding down, most likely I am not going to listen to you on that channel. But if you sell your service to me, that is perfect for my business at 9 in the morning over on LinkedIn, I'm more likely to listen to you. So this is why you need to know your who what you're selling and how it applies to that individual around at the appropriate times. Another thing that I love about marketing channels is that you're able to measure and optimize. It allows you to track, right? Like you get to see if you have a lot of these profiles, and I'm talking about digital marketing and even in person, but let's talk about digital marketing first. Digital marketing, if your profiles are set in some type of professional page, meaning like a business, or I think I have mine like under I think mine is like under creator. I can see my traffic and I can see what are the reels or what are the posts or what is the information that I'm posting the most that is attracting more customers. It will tell me all these wonderful analytics. And actually we do have a webinar that I will get more into next time. But that's just the beauty of having these marketing channels. Now, in the in person, if you are attending to, let's say, pop up events, right? Um, that is a channel, another channel. However, you have to make sure that that is the correct pop up event because even though you have a product, it may sell well in one market, meaning by the beach, but it won't sell too well by the mountains. So that's how you're able to tell and measure that traffic. Okay. The best way that I like to describe a uh, channels is as a radio, right? If marketing is a radio, the channels are the stations. Here, um, I don't know about you, but I'm not big on country music. Don't come for me if the country is your favorite music. I like more smooth songs. It also depends what mood I'm in, right? I'm not gonna be listening the same music I listen to yoga that it is when I'm trying to get pumped up for the weekend. So everyone has different music taste and favorite talk shows. So what station is your audience tuning into? So let's just keep breaking this analogy down. We have social media that could be like your pop hits, right? Like it's constantly just like making this beat. Then we have the email newsletter that is a little bit smoother. That could be like your smooth jazz. We have podcasts that's your talk shows on the radio, right? A lot of the time, these talk shows are in the AM stations. Then there's your in person events. I see that more as a classic rock. The thing here is that once you understand your audience preferences, it just makes it a lot easier. Are they into quick, engaging post? Do they enjoy long form informative content? That's more like a talk show, right? Or are they seeking something educational and structured? So it doesn't matter what your product is. It's how you are, it's the type of message that you're trying to convey to your audience. It just and anything will work. It just depends what platform you're using. So the marketing channels, I'm going to break them down, right? There is so many, and we even within the channels, we can continue to break them down, right? Because social media alone, there is, well, we'll get to that. Let's talk about the traditional channels. The old school but still gold are the flyers and postcards. There's the local newspapers, there's radio and TV spots, community event, and mixers. I honestly thought that radio was dead because of all the streaming that you can do with music. And I actually have a friend who is a journalist. Shout out to Carmen Marquez, who used to work for Telemundo. She is now independent, and I love how she mentioned something super important. She said that she is an independent journalist and that she was trying to promote a campaign that she was doing over on radio, because radios is what gave her the most attraction to what she was trying to do. So she was reporting on, I'm not sure exactly what it had to do with policy and politics, but it makes sense. Politics and policy, a lot of individuals who are into policy and politics do listen a lot to talk shows and radio and whatnot. The pro tip there is that it's perfect for local and face-to-face vibes. Now, the popular digital channels, as we know, is social media, right? Specifically, Instagram and TikTok are like the most popular ones. But again, it goes back to understanding who your ideal customer. Maybe your customer is not in TikTok or Instagram, but they are over on Facebook. It just depends what your product is. It just depends what your service is. But according to the data, at the moment, Instagram and TikTok are the most popular. Email and newsletters are super popular as well. I love getting those myself, because when I do sign up for small businesses that I follow, it gives me an opportunity to kind of see where they're at and just like their journey. Website and SEO is very popular. YouTube and podcasts is growing. I'm a podcaster myself, and I will tell you right now that podcast is not oversaturated. It is growing, and I think that if you're not on it sooner rather than later, you are falling behind because it is another way of individuals that are the newer generation specifically, right? They're always constantly self-teaching themselves, and podcasts is one of them, along with YouTube. Um, okay, so the overlooked channels, and I'm gonna cover a little bit more on that as well. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and just like I'm sorry, quick disclosure. Not disclosure note, Alex or Eric, if Jimenez sisters are trying to log on. Um, okay, so the overlooked channels, um, they're the hidden gems that that could majorly boost your reach is the biz collabs and the co-marketing. This is why I told you guys to kind of exchange social media platforms and emails or whatever you can get to know these individuals, because honestly, collabs and co-marketing is huge. If I have, let's just say just a random number, right? If I have 3,000 followers and I am co-partnering with someone else that has another 3,000 followers, now we are speaking potentially to 5 to 6,000 individuals instead of the 3,000 alone. There is a referral and loyalty programs. I'm a sucker for this. Sometimes I don't even need to go to get that extra drink or go get my eyebrows done as soon as I end up going, just because I want that extra stamp to potentially get that extra free whatever it is that they're offering. Starbucks does this a lot. You scan, you get stars, and then at the end you end up getting a free drink. There's so many different referral and loyalty programs out there that you can take advantage of and be inspired by. There's a lot of groups on social media like Facebook and WhatsApp. It's funny because I'm not a big user of WhatsApp. I can't even pronounce it correctly. But every time that I meet someone from the Spanish speaking community, they always ask me, "Are you on WhatsApp?" So obviously, I do work a lot with the Spanish speaking community, and to me, it seems like I need to do some homework and start getting myself in this application if this is where they're at. Pinterest is a big one, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about Pinterest because I just feel like it's one that is being overlooked. So the pro tip here is that these are gold mines for trust, traffic, and targeted growth, right? So if let's say I am collaborating with someone and that individual loves that person, and if they end up working with me, that means that, okay, so if let's just say Amy ABC, everybody loves Amy ABC, and and it's working out with Jessica, there must be something cool about Jessica if Amy ABC is not willing to work with her. Okay, so here are my top 4 underrated but powerful marketing channel picks. Is Google My Business, Pinterest, podcasting, and strategic partnership and collaboration. Okay, so the first one is Google My Business Profile. Um, I love this because it's free and findable. So if you have a product-based business, or I think you have to have a physical location, if I am not mistaken, but this will be something that I encourage you to do. It's free and you can create it. Um, I like it because people, what is the first thing that you do when you're out in an area? that you're not familiar with, somewhere to go eat, right? Or if it's a service that you normally don't, um, if it's a service that you normally don't hire all the time, like plumbing or just a very specific service. So how do you use this? You add your website. You can use you update your hours. You can add photos. You can add services. So it's literally like a little social media on its own. And what I like from it is that your customers can also upload their own photos. You can respond to them. And the best thing about this too is that if an individual finds me through Google Maps or through Google My Profile, and they click that little phone number, it will notify me how many people actually found me by calling me. Okay, so here is Pinterest. Pinterest, I feel like, is very heavily used by a lot of us. But as entrepreneurs, we're not using it to leverage our business. Pinterest is a visual search engine, not just social media, right? Pinterest is a discovery platform, and it's not just a place to find recipes. I feel like this was the how to at one point, but I feel like it has grown way beyond that. This is where people search for inspiration, and it could live on there for months. Okay. This is where I talk about evergreen marketing. What is evergreen marketing? Something that could just live on, like it never goes out of style. Like it will be relevant no matter how long, if it's been there a month, a year, 3 years, right? So here's how you would use it. You would pin your products, your photos, your blog posts, your lead magnets, your services. You can create infographics step by step on tutorials on how to showcase your expertise. You can link and pin your website or shop to drive traffic to your website. You can use keywords, and especially for lifestyle, fashion coaching, food events, DIY, and anything visual, it can drive serious traffic without dancing on video. So I know that a lot of us are like, I don't like to show my face or I don't like to dance on the videos. Well, this is a good way. So this was literally a screenshot of my Pinterest. And if you look at it, Knott's Berry Farm is there. Not sure why it's there, and well, actually, I do know why it's there. I've been looking, my son is on spring break right now, and I've been looking for something to do for him. So obviously, the phone has a way to gather your algorithm, your search history, so it's there. Um, but I'm big on fashion, so I'm always getting like fashion inspiration. There's sometimes that I find cute outfits, but it's very unique pieces, right? So I like to use Pinterest because I have a lot of clothing, and I could usually put an outfit together based on the inspiration. But sometimes they showcase such unique pieces that I'm like, okay, there's no way I can come up with that. I want that outfit. So I'll click on it and it will take me to the website where they have it for sale. And then you can see here, there is a variation of different things that have popped up on on my Pinterest the last few days ago, and it's from food, jewelry, fashion. I also do visual merchandising with my clients, so you'll see inspiration in there as well. And then I do see that there's a few coaches on the call, as you can see right here to your right there is a post that says how I started my six-figure Pinterest account. So if you're a coach and that's what you teach on, if I'm trying to get inspired or I need help or whatever the case is as a coach, this is a good way to give you exposure. Podcast, as I mentioned, I have a podcast. This is such a wonderful and powerful tool because you build a deep connection and authority through voice, whether you're a guest or a host. So even though you don't have a podcast, it's totally okay. And I guarantee you that a lot of individuals who are hosts will be open and happy to have you on their podcast. It's literally on the planning side of podcasting. I literally plan to talk about 15 to 20 minutes. And a lot of the times, my listeners over on the podcast are listening to me when they're at the gym, I'm sorry, when they're at the gym, when they're waiting for their kids to get out of school, or when they're on a drive, right? So I literally know that I have 20 minutes of their listening time without any interruptions. Now, this is the way that you can use it. You can be a guest, you can share your story, your expertise, and journey on podcasts with your audience that listens to you. So, if you were to look into my podcast, I have a variation of not only solo episodes, but I also bring on guests to the show that share their story. And I actually have one individual that had told me that they gained a client for sharing their story on my podcast. So that just shows you the power of podcasts. If you want to start your own, it just opens so many doors. I It's not easy. I mean, sorry, it's not hard. I feel like putting it together takes a little bit of work, but once you have it, it almost feels like social media, right? Like you have a routine, you have to create the content and then you have to post it. And then what I like about podcasts is that not only do you um it's podcasting, right? They listen to you and your story or your message or whatever it is that you're sharing, but then you can use those clips over onto social media to create more content. That content can go in so many different directions. There's been times where I have used clips of me and my guests talking and utilize those 10 seconds of whatever message we were sharing at the moment. Or sometimes I'll talk about like behind the scenes. There's like so many different ways that you can use that piece of content in other areas outside the podcast. Strategic partnerships and collaboration. I have here the CIELO team that I love very much. I love collaborating with them, and here is the power of it, that you're tapping into someone else's trusted audience, right? We talked a little bit about that. Some of you guys are here because of CIELO, and now you guys are now becoming familiar with me, and vice versa. Some of you guys are here because of me, and now you guys see what a wonderful organization CIELO is. Teaming up with a complementary business for a giveaway is another way that you can team up or collaborate with someone else. You can host a joint event or workshops. Maybe, you guys have two powerful products or services that are perfect if you combine them together. But I do tell you to choose the partners that bring value and have similar and if not identical audiences, because um, sometimes, trust me, I am flattered and I am honored when I now that I'm in this business have so many individuals reaching out to me to either want to be on my podcast or for me to be a part of their podcast or part of their collaboration, and it does not mesh well. I, it doesn't make sense if we were to be collaborating. So just make sure that you are selecting these partners with a lot of love and a lot of trust, because it just becomes a reflection of who you are. Now, I did talk about all the different marketing channels, right? Those were my tips on that. But going back to the last presentation, and if you didn't attend to that workshop, I would recommend you to reach out to CIELO and see if there is a way that you can get that recording, because I knowing your ideal client first before you even dive into your marketing channels is super crucial, because that means that you won't be in the wrong channels. You're not going to be guessing anymore like, "Oh my god, are they here, or I'm not getting any traffic." All of this comes down to understanding who this person is. And if you have more than one ideal client, which is it's possible, right? That's where the segmentations come in. Um, that that still makes a difference, because even though you have two different audiences, you know that one is in one platform and the other one is in the other. So for example, me in particular, I do business to consumer, and I also do business to business. So when I share my content over on Instagram, I speak to them differently versus when I'm over on LinkedIn, because that is more for my B2B audience. Um, so that's just a quick overview of why you should understand the your ideal client. I shared this in our last episode. I mean, in our last workshop. Sarah and Darren, this is how I created a persona profiles. If you don't have a persona profile, I highly, highly encourage you to make one. And this is how that profile supports you, right? Now that I created this profile for a plumbing business, I know that Sarah and Darren are my target market. They're between their ages between 30 and 65, middle class, and they just need plumbing services. Here is the challenges, right? Emergency repairs. Everything on here will literally help me tailor what I need to tell them, the language and the keywords that I will be using in the content. And then if you guys see the search methods, Google search is where they're doing a lot of their searching for this particular service. So I know that I need a Google profile for sure. Word of mouth and online reviews and directories. So the search method is just a way to help you know like where they're going to be searching for you. How your ideal client chooses the right channels, right? So ages Gen Z is mainly on TikTok, YouTube, and podcasts. Boomers are more on Facebook, emails, and TV. Income, the higher income, most likely you'll find it over on LinkedIn, podcasts, and magazines. Mid-low income is over on social media platforms and possibly local events. Gender, women are usually more on Pinterest, Instagram, and TV shows. Men are more on Reddit, LinkedIn, and sports radio. Interest, depending on your product or your servers, right? That also matters. But just using these two as an example, if we are a wellness or travel organization, we know that a lot of our customers are going to be over on YouTube, travel magazine, blogs. And then we have fitness, Instagram, health and podcast fitness events. Um, how to explore with the different channels. Start where your people are at, right? So if you already know that they're in Instagram, stay on Instagram and then possibly see if you can go over to TikTok. I would encourage you to test one channel, new channel each quarter, right? And I would also say, like, for example, try podcast interviews this quarter. Reach out to someone that has a podcast and say, "Hey, I would love to be on your podcast." I do encourage you, though, that if you are trying to be on someone's podcast, that you make time to listen to their podcast to make sure that you guys are aligned. Experiment with Pinterest. Hopefully, I can leave you that as homework. How can you put your product or service over on Pinterest? Co-host a local event next month. Track what's working, and I would say yes. Follow your gut checks, right? If you know, like, I know that when I went to this pop-up event over on Orange County, had a lot more traffic than the one in LA. I would count that. Look at your sales reports. Where are you making more sales? What cities? What gender? All of this can help you experiment to branch out to other channels. So set yourself campaign goals, right? So here's three different examples on how I could branch out to three different marketing channels with three different goals. So for Instagram, I want to increase my visibility. That means I'm going to be doing 3 reels per week. On the email newsletter, my goal here is achieving a 30 open rate and 10% click through rate with the first week. On YouTube, I just want to show that I am knowledgeable and I have authority on this specific knowledge that I am a coach for, right? So you can be the same business with 3 different goals and 3 different marketing channels. This is another way to keep track of, what's working, what's not. Um, you don't have to go this route. You can use, so there's so many tools out there, whatever helps you, but I do encourage you to keep track. I'm going a little fast because we do want to get to our treat. Before we get to that treat, I want to give you guys a quick little exercise. Grab your phones right now, or if you can open another window and Google yourself. Put the name of your business. Put the name of your business, and if you go by your name, put your name. I would go under images, right? And see how often you pop out. You pop up. The goal is for you to cover that whole page. If we're if we are here and there, maybe not even there at all, that means that we need to put yourself out there more. And if you have social media platforms, it will pick up your photos as well. Okay, so once in a while, I'll go into Google and then I will put the name of my business and I'll see how often I pop up. If I pop up quite often, then that means we are doing a good job. Yeah, I see some smiles. Yes. Media and collaborations, another exposure. I have been fortunate to be highlighted in quite a few magazines. Media coverage and collabs introduce you to new audiences. I was actually, you could reach out to Voyage LA, shout out SoCal, Low Business Magazines. I was fortunate enough for someone to recommend me, and then from there it just snowballed. I've been featured in, like, I don't know, I think 4 or 5 different magazines. Um, and then again, being on podcasts is a form of collaboration and exposure. So I highly, highly encourage you to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. And then if they do reach out to you, just be careful. Make sure that it's not spam. And they shouldn't charge you. I always tell everyone, if they are going to highlight you, they shouldn't be charging you, right? But if they do reach out to you, like if Shout Out LA does reach out to you, say yes, because from there it's just gonna snowball. My final tips is that if you are not just marketing a product or service, right? You're sharing your story, your purpose, and your impact. Now that you understand your channels, it's time to show up boldly where your people are at. Align your energy with intention, not overwhelm. Share consistently, authentically. People can feel when you're selling a product to them naturally versus pushy. Experiment, involve, grow your reach with heart. All these individuals here are some type of service, some type of business that are doing such a great job in putting themselves out there. And I encourage you to do the same. Before we jump into our treat today, which is having some great guest speakers today to tell you how they are leveraging their channels, I do want to let you know that your voice is powerful. Your business deserves to be seen. Your people are waiting to find you. Let your marketing channels lead them to you. Okay. Do want to invite you to our next workshop. It's called Elevate Your Brand with Smart and Simple Marketing Tools. Like Alex said, we have a workshop at the end of the last Wednesday of every month. So we talked about marketing channels. Now we're going to talk about, like, how can we look at our analytics and how can we leverage what is already working for us. Um, Here is the QR code if you would like to connect with me, who is with Maravillosa Movement, and along with inviting you to listen to my podcast if you're interested. And with that being said, and sorry if you did not scan the QR code, I will drop the link soon, or Cielo will share that information with you. But I do want to give time to our special guest, the Jimenez Sister Ranch, who I've had a great pleasure to work with them since they were little. And there are a lot, they're growing and blooming into these three beautiful young ladies. And they're going to share with you how they have been growing and leveraging these marketing channels. So I'll take that off, and then maybe, I don't know, Eric, should we give them a spotlight or um with that being said, ladies, Jimenez sisters, if you guys can uh take off mute and introduce yourselves to us, let us know who you are and what you guys sell.
Hi. We want to thank you so much for being here. We're so excited for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. This
yeah.
is a really cool
We're so
opportunity. Thank you so much. So I'm Abigail.
I'm Madeline.
And I'm Olivia. And we are
the Jimenez
Sisters Ranch.
And we make all natural goat milk soaps and body products. We started our company in March of 2021 during COVID when everything was shut down. We had no way to utilize the goat milk, and we raise dairy goats, and coming from a large family, it's hard for us to find versatile bath products that wouldn't harm our skin. So we decided to create our own using goat milk soaps and using the goat milk to create goat milk soaps and body products.
Yes, thank you so much. How long have you guys been in business for? I'm sorry, can you repeat that for me?
This is our fourth year.
This
is
month.
our
So
fourth
this is our
year
fourth
this month.
Wow.
So me and my sisters, we started our business during COVID. We've been raising goats since we were about 3 years old.
Mhm.
We've been raising them through 4-H, where we properly learned how to take care and raise our dairy goats.
Wow, thank you so much. And I asked because I know that I started working with you guys kind of when you guys started. So it just blows my mind that you guys are still actively doing what you guys are doing. So can you, because today we're talking about marketing channels, right? I want to focus on that. How many different channels are you guys currently on?
We are on as many as we can. So we really like to use our what's it called?
Our reach.
Yeah, so we really
our resources.
Our resources. Sorry, we really like to use our resources to the max. So we are on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We are on Shop LC, Facebook, LinkedIn, Talk Shop Live, and we have been on a couple of news articles. So we really like Telemundo. We've been on Telemundo. And we also been on a story in Palm Springs News
as well.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Okay, so you guys were not kidding when you guys said you guys try to be on many as you can.
Yeah.
So okay, so you mentioned that you guys are on live TV, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that has helped your business?
Oh yeah, it's helped our business. Thank you. It's helped our business so much because TV has such a broad reach on it's a televised nationwide TV show or network. Shopping network. It has such a broad reach, and it caters to all these different audiences. So it's so exciting to be on those channels and get that exposure to all these different people. So it's very exciting.
So, okay, so you mentioned Telemundo. You mentioned that you're doing these live TV shows. I know I don't know if you mentioned this, but you guys are also on trade shows now. And I'm not talking about down the street trade shows. I'm talking about out of state trade shows.
Yes.
How do you find these channels, or what makes you think like I should try to be on this particular area?
So really just connecting and talking to people. When we started our vendor markets in 2021, we've met multiple people at the small markets. We started connecting to them. Then we started connecting to their friends. Their friends connected us to other people. And we've just been really utilizing our resources to the max. So now
women's business centers, SBDCs, CAL SBA. Miss Anguiano. We've been using all these local resources to help us grow, and we really appreciate all of the resources that we've had available to us. So that's very exciting, and we're so grateful.
Yeah. So we've been on Shop LC, which is a televised shopping network out of state. So we do travel out of state around every other month to go film there. And we also do Talk Shop Lives, which is also a live shopping network. It's online. Platform. Yep. We do that 3 times a week, actually. Yeah, we do. It's
great. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's super exciting. And one of the things that I would like to stress, and I think that you guys are the perfect example for this, when you start going into these different channels, it basically opens the doors for other channels that maybe you didn't even think of, right? And I know this because I am close to you guys, but I know that you guys had the opportunity to showcase your business as a success story over on Telemundo, a news TV channel for those that are not familiar with it. How did you even, like, I know that you were at a different channel. So from how did you find this Telemundo connection? Where were you at?
We were actually at a Las Vegas trade show, and we went up to another vendor, and we introduced ourselves. And this has honestly gotten us so far, is introducing ourselves and saying hello to everyone, and sharing our story. It doesn't matter products. It really doesn't matter. Just saying hello, introducing ourselves, and sharing our story. And that's what we did to this vendor. And we were talking to them because it was their first Vegas. It was their first trade show.
And they asked us how we started scaling our business. So we gave him a little bit tips. He lived around the area we did. So we ended up doing a couple of more events. And his wife actually is a reporter on Telemundo. So connections are very important.
It just worked out. Yeah. Oh, that's so great. But see, it wasn't because of luck, right? It wasn't no luck. Like, you guys put in the work to be at this trade show. You guys were there not to only sell your products, but also to give exposure. And you guys got that exposure. And, you know, you and I could have been on that same event, and neither maybe me or the other individuals didn't. Oh, actually, no. Let's get this clear. There was many other people at that trade show, right? And you guys were selected to be part of this. So it's part of you sharing your story, being genuine, and, you know, really showing that passion for your product that you have. Now, because you've been in so many different channels, and I am super inspired by it, let us know if you can share with us. Maybe it might be different for the 3 of you, but what has been the most favorite marketing channel for you?
Probably Shop LC. I think it's really helpful because we don't really know a lot about TV, like TV rules and stuff. So it will help us a lot in the future for future TV shows, and when we're going. And the exposure is really good as well.
What about you? What's your favorite?
One of my favorites, and this one is open to everyone. So without making all those connections, you could do this. Definitely Instagram and YouTube. YouTube is my favorite. I post on YouTube every single day. They're very good for connections. We actually give, we've been sending products to micro influencers to spread the word about our products.
Ah, another one. Yes.
Yeah. It's actually been paying off really well, because now influencers with over 50,000 subscribers and 80,000 subscribers are reaching out to us asking for PR.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for sharing your amazing successes. Always a great pleasure to be working with you guys. And I often share that you guys are such a wonderful organization, such a wonderful business, and you guys bring me so much pride to be able to collaborate with you guys and work with you guys and seeing you guys bloom. So thank you so much.
We appreciate you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome. Now,
as well, helping us make connections. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Alex, I don't know. We have, I think, couple minutes. I don't know if you want to open the floor for any questions to either me or the Jimenez sisters, or if there's any that I have missed.
Thank you, Jessica. Alex had to step out a little bit earlier today, so I'll be closing it off. But I really appreciate you all for joining today's session. And it's so amazing to hear an amazing story from the Jimenez sisters. I was really inspired by the story, and I think my biggest takeaway from your story is to simply be yourself and put yourself in spaces where you may think that you don't belong, but you need to act like that. And so congratulations to the three of you and your family, and thank you for joining us. And thank you, Jessica and Giano, for this beautiful session. I think now we can open it up to questions or any comments from everybody who is here today.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself if you have any questions, any comments, or you can drop them in the Dropbox. No questions?
Amazing. Seems like everybody was taking notes. So that's great. Awesome. Well, we'll be closing it off. Just want to say again, thank you to Jessica and Giano for leading this amazing workshop, and we'll have her again next month, the last Wednesday of the month. So please join us again, and thanks again for spending your evening with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.